I'm Kiara Rosario. We are here in the Sound Room studio in Holyoke Media at One Court Plaza in Holyoke. With me today is Lora Barrett, the artist behind the new exhibit that will be revealed at Wistariahurst this Thursday, August 3rd. So tell us a bit about yourself. Who exactly is the Lora Barrett?
I'm a real Holyoker. I moved here when I graduated from college. My husband is a fourth generation Holyoker. My father grew up here. My grandfather lived here. And I taught here for 35 years. I'm really embedded in the community. I'm part of the gardening network. I do a lot of volunteer work. And I'm fascinated by the colors and the shapes in the mills. And I don't think people give enough credit to the beauty of the mills. They think of them as run down and just a mess. And I like to go around and take photos of those mills and turn those things that people think are simple and downtrodden and make them into a painting of beauty with bright colors and rich reflections in the windows. So I've been working on this series for several years now, and I've stopped selling them because I wanted to begin to amass a large amount of them for this show. I have 40 pieces at Wistariahurst.
And what exactly is really your style of painting? Do you have one set style? Do you tend to play around more?
People will look at my work and they will know immediately that it's mine. I have several things that identify my work. One is I really like to do long, narrow pieces, panoramas. And I really like bright, rich colors with very warm colors against a very cool shadow so that the warmth of the brick building pops. But my favorite color to use when I'm painting is turquoise. It mixes well with everything. If you mix a turquoise with an orange, you get a beautiful rich gray. You can kind of scumble a little bit of turquoise on top of a dark shadow and make it pop and look like there's parts of the sky into the shadow.
A lot of vibrant colors to showcase
that. A lot of vibrant colors,
yeah.
I'm very much influenced by the colors of the Impressionists and the Fauves. And I really like looking at the paintings of Edward Hopper. Most people, when they think of Hopper, think of Cape Cod scenes and dunes and his infamous painting, The Night Watch, of those people sitting in a diner being lonely at night. But he also did this really rich series of apartment buildings and tenements and factories in New York City. And those are the ones that really speak to me.
Would you say that looking at artists such as him really got you into painting in the first place?
No, actually, I totally credit my mother, who was not an artist. When I was about 2 years old, my mom had me sitting at the kitchen table with her, clipping images out of the newspaper, and we didn't have much money, and she would make a paste out of flour and water. I didn't have a glue stick. I didn't have industrial paste. And I would fold paper and do little cutouts around these images that I had clipped out of the newspaper. And she had me from the time I was 2 years old making Christmas cards for the family. And when I went away to college and needed to come home for Christmas, I took a bus from Elms College to New York City. And my uncle picked me up at the bus station and took me to his apartment while we waited for my dad to come for me. And while we were sitting in the apartment, he was asking me to help him hang up his Christmas ornaments. And he had the simplest, most torn kind of imagery. He had a little string with every single Christmas card I had ever made since the time I was 2 years old. And that was his signature Christmas piece. So I think between my mother pushing me to be an artist and my uncle who celebrated my art by saving every single card really motivated me.
Wow, that's I'm sorry, I'm just that's so heartwarming to hear.
Yeah, my family had a really big influence on me, and my husband Tom, who grew up in Holyoke, we've been married for 48 years. He's really part of my art. He has always provided me with space, psychological and physical, to create my work. I disappear into the basement of our home, which I've created into a studio. I disappear into that space for 5 and 6 hours a day. And he stops in, he'll bring me a bottle of water or come in and ask me how I'm doing. And he likes to go to museums with me to see the work of other people. So I would have to say that between my mom and my uncle and my husband, I am able to do what I love doing every single day of my life. I remember when I was teaching at Magnet Middle School for the Arts and I was getting ready to retire, the Holyoke Magnet Middle School. One of the sixth grade boys said to me, and I can still picture of Joshua, he says, "But miss, what are you going to do when you're retired?" And I looked at him and I smiled and I said, "I'm going to get to make art every single day." And they went, and I do. I make art every single day.
And I know you've already told us that you wanted to bring vibrancy to all the old mills. Do you hope that, like, when people look at this exhibit, that they will feel the same way, feel that vibrance and warmth about the mills and the history?
I really do. I hope that as part of Holyoke's 150th celebration, that the mills are recognized for their importance in this community and that people rally around them. We have these beautiful canals along where the mills are, and there are walking paths and little restaurants, and let's celebrate that place. Let's go there and be together as a community.
It really just goes to show how deep the history is, and you're just one of the small pieces bringing light to all of that.
I'm trying. I'm just a little piece.
It's a big celebration, this art exhibit, Wistariahurst, big historical piece of Holyoke.
Wistariahurst has changed a lot in the last several years. They're very welcoming, very warm, trying all new kinds of things to bring people into the museum. They have Wisty Wednesdays where they have food trucks and music, and it's free, and you sit in the garden and admire their beautiful flowers. And they have once a month they have a plant sale, and they have labels all over their plants in that garden, and it's so inspiring to be able to have this full block oasis right in the middle of the city.
Yeah. So, well, those are all the questions I have for you today, sadly. To everyone listening and viewing, be sure to visit Wistariahurst this Thursday, August 3rd. The opening reception for the art exhibit will be from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. From then on, the exhibit will be open during their open hours on Mondays and Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Tuesday nights from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. from August 7th to 29th. Well, thank you again for coming here.
It was absolutely my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.